All right, Michael, we're doing our second walk-around video of the day.
Yep.
This 1950.
Yep, 1950 Farmall Cub. I got it in a package deal with that 49 Farmall C with the loader.
Yep.
Funny thing about this is, again, it was real close to the house, so it was easy to go get, but I took the little power tracks down there, pulled it out of his yard to go, because it was kind of snowy out and the tractor didn't run, so he doesn't have anything good to move anything around with over there, so brought the power tracks over there, pulled it up a snowy hill, got it out into the road. I think thing's been sitting for a couple years. We pulled it like 15 feet in the road, pop started it, fired right up, ran mint, couldn't believe it, drove it on the trailer. Supposedly it was his grandmother's, maybe parents' tractor or something, his grandmother's side of the family. And it came from Lovell's garage in Newtown, Connecticut. Supposedly, that's what I was told. It's a real local tractor its whole life. The reason I got it, even though I already have one that's all restored, the reason I got it mostly was because it has about every option you could get back then. Front weights, rear weights. It's got this rear lift for the plows, your garden plow. It's got this combination rear light, which is pretty cool. These are hard to find, especially in working condition, because usually the rear lights are just this part that you never get this, because what happens is you turn the lights on and you could take this switch here and turn it and it'll light this up red, obviously, for like going down the road. But I could demonstrate it quick here. See how you got your work light, and then you turn this switch and you got your little red light there. Real tough lens on it, like back in the day when everything was made real well. This thing also has a swinging drawbar, which was an option. What makes it a swinging drawbar is it's got this metal across the front, and you got this piece here that swings.
Yep.
The regular drawbar obviously is just this piece, so this was an option. And it also has this belt pulley attachment. Got the gearbox off the back of the PTO, and it even has the belt pulley, which is nice. A lot of times the belt pulley's gone or whatever, and you just have the box. And it's got really nice tires on it. These things are like brand new. A little bit of dry rot, but they're definitely usable. But the real reason why I jumped on it was because of the serial number. Serial number 101881. Which is like right in the middle of the demonstrator program. Now I'm 99% sure this thing isn't, because I'm not seeing any white paint on it, but I got it because of the serial number, and it has all the early 1950 casting codes and all the castings. So T was for 1950, and the demonstrator program was the first 3 months of 1950. January, February, March, so obviously 1, 2, 3 for the month. And then the date here, see how it says 13, so that'd be the 13th day, and then T 1950. So it has all the early casting codes, which I liked. And I plan to restore it at some point here, and I'd like to paint it white, even though, like I said, it's not a demonstrator. But I could, be cool, I would think. And like I said, I'm not going to tell anybody it's a real demonstrator, but like I said, it's got the serial number and the casting codes to be one. So that's pretty much why I jumped on it, and it's actually not pretty, but it's in really good shape as far as all the metal goes. And then on the seat here, I couldn't believe it. It's got a seat cover, obviously. I pulled the seat cover back to see what it would look like. And it's actually got all this original padding on it. That's in actually really good shape. Obviously a couple spots, but it's pretty hard to find this. So I thought that was cool. And then I went back a week later to the guy I bought it from. He had a snow plow, a dirt plow, sickle bar, and he has an actual Cub trailer for this thing that came all original with this tractor. So we were kind of thinking about the snow plow for this thing, maybe to play around with in the yard. So I asked him, I said, oh, how much how much you thinking for the plow? Maybe the dirt plow, because I saw them. They're just sitting there. They're buried under a bunch of stuff. Actually, it took a good half an hour to unbury them and get them out of there. But
Right.
I said, "Oh, give me $100 for them. I don't care." So I said, "Sure." Jump on it for $100.
Cool.
Those attachments are probably $400 or $500 the way they sat over there. So obviously, it's too good of a deal to pass up.
Yes.
And then the tractor itself, I didn't pay a whole lot for, in my opinion. I'm not going to disclose it, but
Right.
it was definitely a good deal that I didn't want to leave behind.
No. Okay, so I was talking to you guys this morning as we were doing other work, and I was mentioning how similar this is to the Lowboy that our grandfather and uncle had, and it's essentially the same tractor. But why don't you take us through the mods that this thing has to distinguish it?
So on the Lowboy, what they did was pretty much, they didn't use, by the time the Lowboy came out, they weren't using this wire mesh grill anymore.
But
the styling of it was pretty much the same.
Okay. Now, that Lowboy we had has a wire mesh behind the, it's got some other grill.
It's just like a grill screen pretty much to keep the real fine debris out.
Yeah. Okay.
But the tractor itself was pretty much the same. But what they did was the spindles here were shorter.
Right.
So it got the front end lower to the ground.
Yep.
And then the back, they took the final drives and they turned them 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So your final drive covers, instead of being facing towards the ground, they were actually facing towards the engine. So like I said, 90 degrees turned.
Yep.
So that got the rear end down to the ground.
Yeah, because they're offset. They're like a portal axle thing, if you're familiar with that. Is that similar to that?
Yeah, you've got a small gear
like
driving that big gear.
Yep. It's like a gearbox.
Yeah, I think it's like 6-to-1 or something.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big gear.
Yep.
In the coming out at the wheel there.
So
reduction, of course.
Yeah, and they just rotate it.
Yes, and lowers it.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's pretty much the only difference is the tractor's lower to the ground for different uses, and
Yeah.
but like I said, pretty much all the same. Everything else. The Lowboy came out after the Cub came out.
Yeah. What year Lowboy start coming out?
They came out in '55.
Okay.
So the
Wow.
Cub was already out for
Yep.
8 years.
Yep.
The Cub came out in '47.
Yep. The designs obviously didn't change a lot in that period. It's a lot of similar look here,
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah, the Lowboy was pretty much, like I said, it looked like this. They changed the grill. The headlights were a little bit different. They were the Hobbs style headlight, a little more round.
Okay.
They call these the teardrop lights because
Yeah.
of the way they point back.
Yeah.
But like I said, same thing pretty much.
Yep. You have to have them sitting next to each other to really, unless, you got the super eye for them like you do.
Right. The Cub came out in '47, ended in '79, so it was out for 32 years. So that's a long time. They made quite a few of these, so they're not really rare. But if people want a Cub, they usually want the long stripe Cubs, which I actually do have one. We actually have that video up on that '78.
Okay.
But those long stripe Cubs were only a couple years. I believe it was like '77 to '79. And those are the ones that people will pay good money for, more than I'd ever want to spend. Usually, if you see a long stripe for sale, they're usually like $3,000-4,000 people want for them, and it's justified. Like I said, I don't like to pay that much, but.
And that term has to do with the badging or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right. They totally changed. The tractor itself was the same, but the hood and the gas tank were squared off. Well, the gas tank was the same, but the hood was squared off in the front, and the grill was squared off.
Yep.
So by that time, they were looking a lot like the 140s of that style.
Yeah.
And the bigger tractors.
Yeah.
So it pretty much just looked like a mini 140. But the reason they call it a long stripe is because the decal runs all the way down the hood here. So like I said, people really pay good money for those. Those are yellow and white.
Right.
And they were getting away from the red paint because they knew the cub production was ending.
Yeah.
If you find a long stripe with red paint on them, those are really rare.
Huh.
Because that was a special order from what I've been told.
Interesting.
So, like I said, they made like 250,000 of these things, so they're pretty common. But
Yeah.
like I said, I like the first style, you know, the wire mesh grill type.
Yeah.
And I do like the long stripe cubs. Those are probably my two favorite. But that's about it. Got to do the touch control on this thing. It works, but it leaks. So I got to do a rebuild on that. Forgot to mention that. But other than that, it really doesn't need much.
Right. Well, I could kind of see it from this side, even though it's darker over here. But, well, yeah, it's this hydraulic unit in here, right?
Yep, it's this block. I call it block in here.
Yeah, it
This
looks
is
like a
where-
big block.
Where all your valving is.
On the other side, it has a little more detail, I think.
You got your pump over here, and your lines run up.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. Your
See the
rock
lines
shaft.
running. Yeah. So that's got to be.
Yeah, you can see right here it's leaking.
Yeah.
There's like a small rod, I think, right
Yeah.
there, and there's an O-ring that leaks. It's pretty common.
So in the 49 video, we thought maybe we'd have to do that box as well, but Michael got it unstuck.
Yep, I was able to get the arms freed up. Not arms necessarily, but the control valve for each lever was frozen.
Yep.
So I said, I got nothing to lose. I took a brass punch and I gave them probably half a dozen good whacks, and they actually freed up, and I got them working.
Right.
Filled it up with oil, got the air bled out of it, and it was working. So I got to monitor it, see how it works. Keeps working.
And it had to do with that unit not really being used on that tractor because it had a Henderson loader bucket, and that was being
Yeah,
applied.
that's my diagnosis. It's kind of a simple diagnosis, but
It
I
was-
just don't think it was ever used. And I just
plausible.
think over the course of 70 plus years, I just
Yeah.
think that
Just froze up.
things got stuck and
Right.
from lack of use. And
Yep.
reason I know the hydraulics themselves never were used was because every plug in the tractor here didn't have any bolts. It was all cork still. So the tractors come with cork plugs. You take the cork out if you run an attachment or anything on
Yep.
them. Like I said, that tractor had cork in every single attachment point.
Right.
So I knew that, like I said, the touch control was never used.
Yep.
I mean, it was used for the loader, but it was on a separate valve. So you never used, you know, the factory control levers.
Yep.
So that's why I think they froze up. That's my opinion.
Probably right. Whatever reason, it was frozen because Mike and I were definitely pushing on it, and
Yeah, I of course wanted to take the more drastic approach and take the whole unit off the tractor and work on it. And Michael, I came home and he had it fixed, so I guess I lost out on that one.
we won't lose out on this one because we
This one we're gonna take off.
yeah we wanted to
Take
see
apart,
one
reseal it.
eventually.
Yeah, we've got another tractor around here that's a little hokey, so we're gonna take that one apart too. But this one we're gonna.
Yeah, our Super A needs a rebuild. It works, but it's a little slow and it loses its oil. So, but the rest of the tractors around here, they do work.
Yeah.
Like I said, this one leaks, but this one does work.
Yeah. Well, we're fixing leaks. That's what we're doing. That's what our current thing is. Today's was the power track leaking cylinder, and we were gonna start digging into this today. Not that we wanted to have everything apart, but
Biggest excitement on taking that apart is getting the hood and gas tank off the way they
yeah,
designed this. It's
Right.
kind of a pain.
yeah,
And all the other tractors, the gas tank was bolted to the hydraulic unit, or they had special brackets holding it to the chassis here. The Cub, they decided to keep the hood and gas tank in
Yep.
one, which I don't know why they decided to do that. So whenever you got to work on the engine, you're taking a gas tank that has fuel in it that's heavy, and you're taking a hood off,
Yep.
and it's kind of awkward to handle, and you got to unhook your fuel lines, and
And
kind of and then all these screws here you got to take out.
yeah.
Keep these dog legs, they call them, off. They're separate from the hood, and half the time these screws don't come out, and then you're fighting them because they're old flat bladed screws or flat headed screws, stove bolts, as we call them. So
And
it's
last weekend,
kind of a pain.
last weekend we were finishing up the 49 head, right, Job?
Yeah.
And so it's very similar, right? We had this whole
Yeah, those bigger tractors like the A, B's, and C's are a lot easier to work on.
Right.
'Cause like I said, the hood's separate and
yep,
everything's a lot easier. This is a flathead. The valves are in the engine rather than in the head.
yeah,
So this is actually totally different
right.
when it comes to if you were to do a head gasket.
I guess it is, totally different. What struck me though is that we had to take all the stuff off the top last weekend, including the tank with either fuel in it or drained.
Well, I took the fuel tank off of that mainly because I thought I'd be taking the touch control unit off.
All right, all right.
And that tractor was so coated in oil and grease from
Yep,
years of abuse that I wanted to clean it all and put it back together nice and
Right.
clean. So
Well,
that's pretty much the reason.
yeah, it certainly gave us more room to work.
Right.
We probably would have been,
I've done it before. You don't
Yeah.
have to take the
Right.
gas tank off, but like I
Yeah.
said,
Plus, you want to clean out the fuel tank anyway, right, Michael?
It was
Still
pretty
gotta clean
grimy.
it off.
well,
Did you clean it?
I didn't clean the inside. I
Oh.
cleaned the underneath of it
Yeah,
and put it
but
back
you
on.
still need to clean the outside, the inside, right?
I don't know if it's dirty or
Oh.
not. I never looked in it, but then I
Right.
cleaned the fuel bowl out because that had a bunch of gunk in the bottom.
Chances are that over the 100 years, there's stuff in the
Right.
tank, so we'll end up.
I never bothered looking in it because it seems to.
Oh, you put it back on already?
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
back together.
oh, I thought he had the our little portable tank on it still. I
No,
haven't.
it's
Michael
all back together.
worked on it on the days off,
Right.
off this week.
No, the gas tank's all cleaned back on it. Hood.
Yep.
everything.
we have the video on that whole head job. I can't say that it's actually up now, but it will be very soon. Takes longer to go through the footage and produce the video sometimes, but yeah, whatever. All right, so I decided to end the in-garage walk-around video with starting it up.
Yeah. That was running good.
It does.
Idles.
Yep.
Even charges too, which is even more surprising.
Yep.
Low and high output you can turn on.
Right. But we're still not getting. We don't trust we're getting consistent starts. Like tomorrow, if you come and start it up, may be a problem again.
Yeah, it's a little finicky to start.
Yeah. We just pop started it down the driveway after trying a number of different things. We tried the usual start system, but these starters like to disengage very prematurely.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about that.
They just won't run until you. And then we tried the front crank, and just can't sustain that either. So pulled it down the driveway and popped it. And it did about halfway down, I guess it started.
Yeah, it's got the original spark plug wires on it from 1950.
And what about the rest of the ignition parts?
Oh, the condenser on it says IH, so
Okay.
I don't know if it's ever been.
Right, so points and condenser is still original? I mean, not original, but we haven't changed them.
The condenser, yeah.
Okay.
Who knows if the points, I'm sure the points have been changed
Okay.
at some point in its life.
And the cap,
Cap, I think, has been changed.
it has, okay.
But I don't think the wires definitely
Right,
haven't been.
wires
Just look
haven't.
at that
Yep.
loom look to them, that cloth loom look,
Yep.
factory look.
And I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but caps with a crack can be a problem.
Yeah, it looks like the only thing that's been changed on that
Yeah.
ignition system.
Yep. And then the rest of the magneto is probably in fine working order.
Yeah, they're pretty mechanical, pretty
Yeah.
basic.
Yeah.
Nothing really goes wrong with them. As long
Right.
as you got a hot spark, then they're pretty bulletproof.
Right. And as far as the carburetor goes, contributing, we don't really think that's part of the problem, do we, at this point?
Not at this point. It's drips a little bit when it doesn't want to start. But
Yeah.
I'm not overly concerned with that at the moment.
Right. So, fairly easy is upgrade some of the old ignition stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably should use points, wires.
Yep. I mean,
Probably not a condenser, but
yeah.
I don't really see anything wrong with it. Yeah, definitely points and wires.
Right.
Maybe plugs, maybe, I don't know. Plugs didn't look bad.
Right. It certainly runs very smoothly and very nicely. We're noticing before just no vibration.
Still got the original IH muffler on it too.
Okay. Yep.
Pretty cool. It's got the part number in it.
Huh.
Only thing I did was put the rain cap on it. Didn't have a rain cap.
Yep. Yep. Keep the rain out.
Yeah, changed this pipe. It's bent.
Got to, yeah.
Probably put a stainless pipe on it. So I want to change that. It looks pretty bad like that.
Yeah. You know, it looks well used, and I don't mind tractors looking like that, but you know, whatever you got to do. But yeah, bent pipe and stuff like that. Stainless never hurts.
Yeah, I like the stainless obviously because it doesn't rust.
Right. And the exhaust system.
Looks a little better.
Right. No, it's.
I got to order one of those.
Yep. Otherwise, it's solid piece of hardware. All right, that's probably the end of it. Shut down now. Bye bye.